This is Demetria Livingston doing a video for 3 different scenarios and how to use technology to help. The first scenario is Mr. B with fractions. He is confused on if students are having trouble with their fraction skills or comprehension in the word problems. So first thing I would say what he needs to do is do an assessment, maybe whole group, test out, maybe have a number talk with the students, see how they understand it, have them talk through it. If they get a feel for it and he feels like they're fine with the fraction part, maybe it is the comprehension. Maybe do another whole group activity with looking at the words in a word problem. What does each word mean? And figure out that. So if it is the skills, he could use ixl.com. That would help him with digitally. He could have students on it individually. They could do it whole group. He can pick out a certain skill that he wants them to look at. And if they have a smart board or something, you could have students come up, move things around, and practice how to do different math problems. And if it is the comprehension part, I would be just going over what words that they need to focus in on. Like, are they asking if you see and, are we adding those fractions or are we, taking away? I teach kindergarten, so I say take away. But that would be one of the things is making sure they understand math, word problem, vocabulary, and with fractions, how do we say those words and how are we using that if they're writing it out as a fraction? And I would be going over that a little more. Okay, this scenario is for the middle school, Mrs. C, 7th grade. Mrs. C is trying to teach her students about habitat loss and local environments. And I would suggest using, and this is 7th grade, so they should be a lot more familiar with technology, using the computer, cell phones. I would suggest using Diigo. Students are able to see teacher notes after the teacher can share different articles. So this would be really great for her to share articles on what's going around in their local environment and sharing ideas. And she can highlight, put notes on there that she wants students to focus in on what information. I would also use Selly, which is used on their cell phones. And she could either have a group message going on where she could be asking for ideas or have them engaged in a quick, just let me come up with a question about what we're learning, or even take a poll. Like, what do you think about this going on in habitats in our local environments? And students can respond in either way, and kids can see how their classmates are responding, what their ideas are. I think that would be a really great way to collaborate and extend the learning from the classroom using technology. Okay, this scenario is the high school scenario with Mrs. R preparing her students for a state test for literacy. She comes to me asking what she can use for technology and to get her students to pass. So I'm going to suggest to her using an online tool called Formative. Formative is free to try, and then she has to pay, but it will give her a narrowed idea of what her students need to focus in on for whatever subject she needs. I would also suggest using whatever her school is using as a standardized test. If they're using any kind of programs online that's diagnostic, to try to focus in, use her data to narrow in on what each student needs and go from there. See if all the students need a certain area, or are they just all scattered all over what they need to be focusing in on. But that's what I would suggest, is some online testing, diagnostics. The one I found online was called Formative. Thank you.